Welcome everyone to our webinar today titled Achieving End-to-End Bidirectional Traceability in Complex Software Projects. My name is Peter Haller. I'm going to be your presenter today. Before we start, let me tell you about the structure of our webinar today. So first I'm going to show you a few slides. Then we're going to have a live demonstration which will be followed by a question and answer session. At any point of the webinar, you have the possibility to ask. Therefore, you have a questions panel on the right side in the GoToMeeting panel. So you just have to type them in. The webinar or the recording of the webinar will be available at intland.com/webinars at our homepage. And if you are visiting our homepage, please feel free to sign up also for our upcoming webinars. So first, this is our agenda. I'm going to introduce briefly our company, Intland Software, then talk about the end-to-end traceability and the 3 layers of traceability. And at the end, we're going to have a live demonstration, how you can stay on the top of your processes using CodeBeamer capabilities and the traceability browser. So here we go. We are Intland Software. We were founded in 1998 and headquartered in Stuttgart, Germany. We have an office in the Silicon Valley in the USA and also have partners in Korea and Taiwan. And we are the sole providers and developers of our CodeBeamer application lifecycle management solution with the 3 main modules, such as the requirement management, the development management, and the QA and test management. In this slide, you can see a bunch of our customers. We are serving many customers from various industries, such as the automotive, and also as we are located in Stuttgart and headquartered in Stuttgart, we are obviously affiliated with the Daimler, also as Ferrari Continental, but we are serving many customers from the high-tech such as Festo, from the defense, finance, and medical sectors as well. And this is important to mention here that CodeBeamer is a really scalable tool. So we also have installations for small teams with a few members, all the way up to with the Lufthansa Systems, who are also our partners in consultancy and system implementation, where they have more than 5,000 users. So, and we are arrived to our topic for today. What are basically the benefits of traceability and why do we need that? So imagine when organizations fail to deliver quality software on time and on budget, it is typically not because any individual is dysfunctional, but because the entire team or organization is misaligned. End-to-end visibility enables organizations to proactively steer projects to success based on real-time information. Traceability is the ability to gain end-to-end view across your project lifecycle. When your software is delivered to the customer, you should be able to identify all the activities associated with the software. You should also be able to state with confidence that the software includes this specific requirement included in this software build, validated by this test case, and with this test result. Anything less, you really don't know what you are delivering and whether what you are delivering will meet your quality requirements. End-to-end lifecycle traceability is a prerequisite for meaningful insight into project status, issues, and risks. For example, the question, are we ready to release, requires certain knowledge that can be only gathered by correlating requirements, code, build, and test information data that potentially resides in 4 different repositories. The ideal environment will allow teams to easily link related assets and maintain those linkages as assets evolve. And just to summarize why it is important, so establishing traceability between all artifacts in the lifecycle, such as requirements, specification, test cases, bugs, and code. Also be able to visualize and to show these relationships and to provide audit trails on all artifacts in your entire lifecycle. And traceability isn't simply one of those nice-to-have capabilities in the software development lifecycle. Traceability helps you understand what everyone else on the team is doing. For example, while the requirements analyst knows very well what requirements he has written, he still needs to know whether a given requirement will be addressed during a specific development iteration, and if so, which one. Or he also wants to know if the implementation of that requirement has been tested and with what result. It is important to understand how requirements, test, and development are linked by projects and tasks. In this way, we can differentiate 3 dimensions of traceability. The first one, the artifact traceability, as you can see on this chart. So in this example, we have customer requirements, system requirements, test cases, and bugs. And the artifact traceability also referred as to a horizontal traceability. And this is tracing each individual product requirement into the analysis, design, construction, testing, validation, and releases. So all the way down the life cycle. The purpose of this artifact traceability is to ensure that each requirement is going through all the necessary phases of the development lifecycle. In software and hardware engineering context, you always have to make sure you have a transparent view of how your requirements are being covered by test cases to provide the proper validation. This kind of tracing may employ forward tracing and also backward tracing. Forward tracing is used when the tracing follows subsequent steps in the development path, such as forward from requirements to the design code. Backward tracing means the opposite, following the test steps backward, such as code through design to requirements. CodeBeamer also offers the backward and the forward traceability, called the bidirectional traceability, can be enforced at any point in the project. So the next thing what we also have and can differentiate is the historical traceability, also referred to as a vertical traceability, is ensured on each and every item, letting you browse and control all changes on every single artifact. Previous versions and changes can be reviewed along with all the relevant details of these changes, who made the changes, when and what exactly was changed. And also we provide the project traceability. In this meaning, you can also compare different baselines, different releases together. And this project traceability means that all the details of the entire process and work history are stored and can be accessed at any time. It basically means total transparency for projects. In the CodeBeamer, this kind of traceability can be enforced with baselines, and it spans the vertical and the horizontal traceability of any item or even entire project. And this one. So basically, that was the introduction and the first part. Now I would like to ask you questions before we jump into our live demonstration. So here is the first one. I'm launching the questions. So which tools are you using currently? So your options are Microsoft Office, IBM Jira, HP, or any other tools. Yeah, thank you for your answers. I'm now closing this poll, and I just shared the results. So almost equal results. So everyone's using Microsoft Office, Jira, and also other projects as well. And right now, let's jump into our CodeBeamer. Here we go. And for today, I set up a demo project. But to visualize you and show you the traceability with CodeBeamer capabilities. This is a medical project, but we also provide templates for hybrid software development as well. And this is important to say here that as CodeBeamer uses configuration management database, you can easily set up your relations among different artifacts. You can see in this project we have our customer requirements, system requirements, and also the software requirements listed amongst the work items. And once I click on the configuration diagram, this will visualize the connections amongst these artifacts. I'm going to zoom out a little bit to provide you a better insight. So once I scroll down, here you see this is our customer requirement, and you can see based on the database relations how it's connected to the architecture, for example, to the change request, to other requirements going to the right, to the system requirements and software requirements. This is kind of look a bit difficult here and messy, but this is simply UML visualization and is based on real database relations. So zoom back. Alright, and here we go. And now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna jump into my custom requirements, and using these predefined relations and database connections, I'm gonna add to my touchscreen user interface requirement referring a connected item, and also I will set up association and show you how easy it is to make in CodeBeamer and how it can be visualized afterwards. So you can see now on the left hand side our tree structure navigator bar, which also helps you to navigate amongst your requirements. But for now, once I click on my touchscreen user interface requirement in the middle, you see on the right also I see all the necessary information as properties listed, and also in the meantime you see this new menu bar where you can click on this plus button and you will see exactly based on the database relations what items or requirements or any other artifacts can be connected to this specific customer requirement. So based on the relations, I can add a new customer requirement, a system requirement, software requirement, or even like a change request. Right now, I will just generate a test case, and this will be added as a referring item. Right now to this customer requirement, I will generate this only for these nodes, so the test case has been generated automatically. I'm gonna jump into its detail view, where you can also see the properties of this specific requirement. And once I scroll down, related to this requirement, you can see the associations here. So there is also one item which is dependent on this specific item, but also two others are depend on this specific requirement. And also this is our newly generated touchscreen user interface, and which I can also see among the references, which are direct connections here. So under the references, I can also see the test case with its status as well. And you can see this is currently in the status new, and I just generated this test case. So this is how you can easily add a new item based on the database connections. I will now set up an association and add an association to this item. Therefore, I'm going to click on Add Association. First, at this point here, I have to define the type of the association, which will, let's say, is a child of this item. And I will add, I can search for artifacts, and I also can use my history. From now, I'm going to search for it. I'm going to search for anything that contains touch. I scroll down, and here I see many requirements, hardware requirements specifically in this system. I'm going to click on this one, and I will add this association. And once I move back to my associations, you can see that this item is the child of this touch interface requirement. And also to visualize these relationships, you only have to click on this button here to visualize the relations and how this item is dependent on any other artifact in the system. So in the middle, you can see our customer requirements in the center, and those are the items that currently verifies or depends on our requirement, and also the others above that they are currently being derived or like dependent on our requirement as well. Another factor of traceability, which is regarding the item itself. So we trace every single modification on every artifact in the system. So whenever I make simple modifications on this requirement, let's say I change the type, the constraint, the complexity to standard, and also the assign to, so I will assign it to my profile using our LDAP systems Active Directory. I'm going to click on Save, and once I scroll down, sorry about that, I also change the status, for example, to redefine, for example, right now. So I changed the status from new to draft. So now I scroll down, and in the history, I should see what I just changed here on this requirement, and that's what I can see clearly. So here on the right hand column, that's the old value, and these are the new values that I just set up, and also this is the state transition I just made. And here in this state transition progress bar, you can review previous versions of this requirement. So I'm just click on the to this approved stage signal, and this will show me exactly what the actual state of the approved status. So you see, before I set up the type, complexity, and also the assigned to user. So this is how we provide also the item traceability. And what we can also visualize here using our traceability browser in the system, which is a very powerful tool of CodeBeamer. So I'm gonna go back to my customer requirements. I'm gonna click on more. Therefore, I got the traceability browser. I'm gonna click on that, and I would like to visualize the connections and to show my entire lifecycle, starting from customer requirements, and then moving on with the system requirements, also the connected software requirements, all the way down to the, for example, to the test cases. So in this way, you can visualize your entire life cycle. I'm zoom out a little bit to be able to present it to you. So you can see in the first column our customer requirements. Also, they are connected to my system requirements, software requirements, and to the test cases. And in this view, you can visualize also the actual statuses. So let's take an example. This customer requirement is in the status approved, and it has two different related system requirements called Ethernet interface, data interface within the status new, and also three different software requirements. Also one in the status new and two in status rejected. And also we have various different test cases as well. And also this is how it's visualized to the entire lifecycle. Also, this view can be exported to Excel, and you can send it to your colleagues very easily. So this was one way to visualize the connections. And also this works for the opposite direction. So therefore, I'm gonna change my starting point. So I will start from my test cases, where there they are, for my test cases. Then I'm gonna move back for the reverse order, starting from software requirements, system requirements, and to customer requirements. And based on the database connections, I can see exactly my items. And this is our example that I just showed you before. These are the test cases. These are the software requirements, the system requirements, and also the connected customer requirements. So this is how we provide the bidirectional traceability in the system. And here another important feature is that we can also visualize the reach coverage of your requirements. Therefore, I'm going to go into my customer requirements. And for each type of your requirements, so no matter what type is it, you can easily check out whether they are all covered by test cases. Therefore, you have to go into the more and to the coverage browser. And in CodeBeamer 7.7, we have elaborated this filtering functionalities of our coverage browser, where you can see all the requirements in a hierarchical order with their actual coverage. You can filter for coverage, for not covered or even not covered, and this only will visualize all these requirements which are currently not covered with any test cases, or like also the covered ones. And based on that, you can filter for the actual statuses of these test runs, which are all incomplete, tests failed or blocked or even not run. So this is how you can visualize your test coverage very easily as well. So the next thing I would like to show you also in CodeBeamer, we provide you the Wiki capabilities. So in this project, we also set up some informational wiki pages, which are like a documentation of our software development plan. And in the software development documentation planning, this is actually the description of how you have to document your planning. And here, this is important to note, so you can add your content here on this wiki page. You can add it inside or outside of CodeBeamer very easily. But note that in CodeBeamer, each artifact and every item has a specific unique identification number here. I will just copy that to the clipboard because I would like to make a direct link to this specific documentation from one of my tracker items, from one of my customer requirements. The only thing I have to do now, I go to my trackers, to my customer requirements, and to this touchscreen user interface, I'm gonna go into the edit of the description here. I see currently I'm in the WYSIWYG editor. I scroll down to the bottom where I can find the actual text. Let's say documentation link. Now I switch my view to the markup, and I will set up here wiki link. Wiki page, and this is where I copy the ID. Let's click on the preview. So scroll down. This is this appears just correctly. So I clicked on save, and you can see now we have a inside internal wiki link on this on the description of this specific requirement. I'm gonna click on this one. This will navigate back to me directly to my wiki page. And this also works with documents. As you can see, with also each CodeBeamer comes with the documents management capabilities. And here in the processes wiki page, we defined certain links, direct links to our documents. So this works just once you click on this one. You see we are on the tab of documents. I can see my file, so I can easily download my file. You can use directories, and also the versioning and the traceability also works here in the documents manager as well. And moving back, going back to my wiki page, this is also how it works and defined in the wiki page, and then I just added the connection. So once I click on the edit, I go to the markup. This is how it looks. So this is how you can specify certain connections and links. Alright, so this is how it works. The next thing I would like to show you is how you can also visualize all your items, and helps you to trace each changes and their actual statuses of your items and artifacts in the system, and your project management capabilities in CodeBeamer. So in the releases, in this project we define different releases, and just go into one specific one. And once I clicked on that, these are the statistics view of my release. But once I click on my Kanban board, this is where you can visualize all your items in the system which are assigned to this specific release as tickets, and all these tickets coming from different type of requirements, specifications, and items, and each have their own workflows. And in the system, whenever you make a modification here, so like a state transition based on the workflows for the tracker items itself. So like for this requirement, I move it to the in progress column, and you see currently my colleague Christoph is added as assigned to user and the responsible user for this specific hardware platform requirement. And once I made this modification as a project manager, he have been already notified via email that currently a state transition has happened to this specific requirement. So this is also built in automatically to the system. You can even follow or unfollow certain type of artifacts. It only depends what you prefer. And last but not the least, we also provide the baselines, which I previously mentioned in my presentation. And the baselines are works like actual snapshots of your entire project, containing all the content, configuration, and all the relations and everything that you did in your project. So previously, before this webinar, I created a baseline number 1. And you see on the right hand side, these are the administrative information that currently I made this specific baseline at what actual point of time. Now I would like to create a new baseline with the modifications I just created in the system. So this name gonna be baseline number 2. And you see I also can add my electronic signature, and this is really important and really useful for safety critical industries. So I'm gonna add my personal signature here. Click on OK. I added the wrong signature, so the system just notified me and not let me proceed. So I will add my correct password. Click on OK. Now the system generates a baseline, and you will see this baseline also visualized as electronical validated by an electronic signature. And now I will compare these baselines to each other. Alright, and let's see what happens. This is the tabular overview of the items that are currently have been only modified in this demo. So now I'm just click on my track and work items and see exactly what modification has been done. So let's visualize this one. I modified this touchscreen user interface and see exactly what modifications have been done. So this is where you can see the status transitions, also the property modification that I added, the type, complexity, and the assign to. So this is how you can visualize and compare different baselines together. And it's even also possible to review a baseline itself. So you can go, once you click on a baseline, you can go back and you can review each changes in the system with all the responsible person included. And that's one last thing I would like to show you, that because I previously mentioned we are also able to go down to the source code level as well. So therefore I'm going to go to another project called Digital Device, where we have in the source code management repositories, where we have connected different repositories. Here we have one Git repository, also a Mercurial, Subversion, and other repositories as well. And once I click on the Git repository, in the changes I can see exactly these specific changes related to in this specific repository. So once I scroll down, I can see exactly who made these modifications. So currently my colleague Joel made some modifications in the source code. I also scroll down where I can visualize more than one change. So let's pick this one. This is a task. I click on the source code level as well. And here you can see highlighted with red the deleted lines, and also highlighted with green the newly added lines. And right now on the right hand side, you see this source code modification is connected to this specific task. And once I click on this task and also click on the source code commits, I see exactly the same values. So once I expand my view, I can also see the code itself, but what I can see more is like actually you can make any comments. So or see my colleague Mylan is added some comments to these sections, but I also can add. So this is my webinar comment. Click on save, and this is now I just basically reviewed and added the comment to the source code very easily. So basically that was a live demonstration. But before we move on to the questions and answers session, I would also like to ask you a couple of more questions. So the second one is, I'm searching for a tool to manage, and here you can see your options, your requirements, your testing, the entire development lifecycle called ALM, agile project or multiple agile projects, so-called SAFe. Yeah, thank you for your answers. The majority are looking for a tool for entire development lifecycle. The next question is, what software development methodology do you use currently? Your options are Agile, Scrum, Waterfall, V-Model, or Hybrid. And note here we also provide templates for each of these development methodologies. Thank you for your answers. And this is our last question here. Whether you would like to receive any further information about CodeBeamer in the future, yes or no. Alright, thank you very much. This is nothing left, just the questions and answers session. So, but before we jump into that, in the meantime, you can type in your questions. But let me also invite you to our next workshop, which will be in Munich, in München next week on the 16th of July. And also invite you to our next webinar titled Agile, V-Model, Waterfall, or Hybrid Development. Alright, we have a question from Kevin. So you can see on our website we have add-on into Gyro, one direction from Gyro to CodeBeamer. Yes, that is correct, Kevin. Are there any plans to make this bidirectional? Yeah, actually it's under development, so I can tell you I can promise you anything or tell you an exact date when it's be released, but we are still working on that, and also many of our customers are requested for that integration as well. So stay tuned, and we will also post all the information on our website and also in the newsletters. Yeah, here we have another question from Chuck, whether our tool can pull data from Visual Studio Team Foundation server. Yeah, you can also specify the connection and integration with Team Foundation server, and also you can pull data from Visual Studio. Yes. Are there any questions? Any other questions? I'm gonna wait a few more minutes. Alright, as I don't see any other questions coming in, so I will terminate this session right now, and I will send you a follow-up email just after the session with a direct link to this recording. So, and also if you have any further questions, please contact our sales team, and for further information or personalized webinar. But you can please note that you can also try out our fully functional ALM suite entirely for free. Just type into your browser saas.codebeamer.com. So thank you for your attention, and bye bye.